Welcome everyone to the Author's Quill and Why Can I See Myself? So, there I am. Okay, welcome everyone to the Author's Quill. I hope everyone's having a great morning, great afternoon, great evening, great night, wherever you are on our big, beautiful blue planet. I know we got a lot of Australian listeners, so I hope all of y'all down there enjoying the show today. And we have listeners as well. We got some Kiwi listeners. We were talking about um, New Zealand last night. It's paradise on earth. I mean, you've got all this beautiful territory, all this beautiful country, and no poisonous snakes, no poisonous spiders. I mean, really, this you can only die by stupidity in New Zealand. So I'm just saying they consider it paradise. That would be no, that would be Eden on earth. Yes. I don't know. I've never been, so who knows? The damn Aussies might be. I mean, the New Zealanders might be down there lying or something. You never know. I know Australia sure the hell ain't like that. Let's just be honest about it. But anyway, we appreciate y'all listening. All through South America, I was doing a audit yesterday on the station, and I like to see which countries in general, especially newer countries that I got on the network. Argentina is recently started jumping up in the numbers, and I did notice a boost 2 days ago in Venezuela. So I mean, we've always had listeners in Venezuela, but it's never been a huge base because not everybody can get a podcast or radio there or whatever you can listen to on. So, if matter of fact, I think the only way you can get us over there is on podcast. So it's yeah. So if you don't have internet, or cell phone, something like that. But then they may limit what you can get from the United States. But regardless, I have noticed a nice boost over there. Argentina's boosted nice. Mexico is always on a steady climb because a lot of the topics on this network, the Mexican people tend to like. So we do really well. Canada goes up and down like a freaking roller coaster. Oh yes, they do, and it's not even a political thing. I thought maybe it was a political thing, like with Carney and Trump fighting, but it's not even that. It's just like maybe it's a weather thing. I have no idea what it is. It is weird though, and different provinces do different ways. Well, we have a host in almost every province up there, and the station managers up there, so it's just kind of weird. It's not like we're anti-Canadian or anything. Well, John is, but I'm not. John,
Joe,
John said on them Canadians.
Joe, stop that.
What's that, Chris? No, he's married to a Canadian. That's why I can say that because he's married to one. Um,
Anyway,
well,
while we got, I just texted Megan.
ex-Canadian.
She said she hadn't gotten the link yet, so I just sent
Well,
it to her.
oh, you send it again? All right, good deal.
Yeah, but only
Yeah.
before she's coming, since we got people from all over the world. This is one of the a contest called Writers of the Future, and it's open to all writers and all artists of science fiction and fantasy. And if you're aspiring and working becoming a best-selling author, but you're not professional yourself yet, this is a contest you can enter for free. You go to writersofthefuture.com. You can enter either short story, science fiction or fantasy, or science fiction fantasy illustration. And it's at writersofthefuture.com. And it's free to enter. It's open to anybody all over the world. There's no age requirement, no sex, no nationality, no ethnic, no nothing. It's just straight your story. And the judges only see your story and a number that the contest administrator assigns to it. So it's a total level playing field. And everybody has the same chance as anybody else. It's got to be a good story. Good stories win. And if it's not a good story, you get an email saying, thank you very much. Please resubmit. We have a free online course you can take that is taught by some of the biggest names in science fiction and fantasy. But I highly recommend you get it. And then if you like short fiction, science fiction, and fantasy, then I recommend you can go to any of the Amazon pages and get a copy of Writers of the Future. This is volume 41. And so it's been 41 years it's been going on. But it's the best new voices in science fiction and fantasy. So I recommend, if you're into science fiction and fantasy, that you check it out. It's the biggest competition in the world for science fiction and fantasy short fiction, and it's something you can really gauge your improvement as an author, because you can go from honorable mention to silver honorable mention to finalist, semi-finalist, and a winner. And so it's an amazing thing for you to do. And I just got a text from Megan saying she's trying to get on now. So
I see her down at the bottom.
Okay, good.
It's no, Jeffrey, you can just win. Yeah, you can submit one time and win if you're that good. I mean, you can. It happens more for illustrators than it does for the authors, but still. What do you mean? Well, I guess in some ways the author competitions are more intense, but the illustrators just sometimes hit it right off the bat and win, and sometimes no. I don't think there's any secret to it. I've interviewed enough of them now. That I don't think there's a secret to it. I just think it's your particular talent. Yes.
We do have a free course which covers a lot of the basics of how to do it. Rise of the Future is a market, just like other magazines and other books. So if you read the books, you know what we're looking for. It's middle school on up appropriateness. It's PG-17 would be the most outlandish. That's not, if you're looking for like dark fantasy, I mean, if you're looking for dark horror type stuff, that's not this market. Sex stuff, not this market.
But the best way to do this, people, is just to go over to galaxypress.com and buy one.
You can see what it is. What are we looking for?
And just see.
Yeah.
Well, there's a 10 box set. I think they still got some of them around.
Yep.
And matter of fact, I found one the other day. I didn't know I still had. I thought I gave all 3 of them away. So I don't know where they came from exactly, but it's going to go to somebody this year. But I mean, just get one. They're not expensive. I mean, it's not like it's going to put you in a poorhouse. It's the winter time. Nobody's out doing it. I mean, right now we're fixing to be in the middle of a blizzard. Just you could be sitting there reading it right now. If you got a bookstore nearby, Barnes and Noble, something like that, they have them over there. Go pick one up. And personally, I've let's see, I've read 8 with them with their stories, and this will be 9, and then I think another 8. I went looking for some, but some of them are out of print, so you can't get them. But there was 2 different sets I got, which are 10 books each. So probably 22 books altogether I've read. And most of them get given away. Not all the ones behind me don't give because they're all autographed, except for this one. It just likes to sit there and taunt people because it's a big book you could beat somebody over the head with. It's a good book to read. I'm just saying, look, this is something, especially if you live like in New York somewhere. So you can be reading this book and really, really be into this book, and somebody break into your house and just whack, and it's 2 for 1. I'm just saying. No, it's an enjoyable book. I don't know. Somebody asked me about Mission Earth and when they were going to release the audio the other day, but I didn't know what to tell them because I hadn't talked to John yet.
Yeah. And we're hoping later this year, but
they're just teasing y'all. They're keeping it a secret, man. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm just lucky I got to hear it.
That's the question. Did Megan make it into the
let's see. Dun, 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 dun. No, it's got she needs to connect her mic and her camera.
Okay.
She's got to do it when she just went out. She'll come back in and do it in settings. Gloria Weisenhouse. Where the hell are you from? I was going to say Germany, but I'm not feeling that's German. French, maybe? Irish? I don't know. It's your name. You don't know? I'm not even going to say that. I'm just going to leave that alone. I know I'm from Mars, so look. Yes, I actually come from Mars. Hey, look at that.
All right. Yay. Success.
Yes.
Hey, Megan.
I have no idea how I got locked out into the ether, but I'm here now.
It happens. I wouldn't worry about it. It's
welcome
electronic.
to the here and now.
Yay!
Everything. These days it's great. Just 10 years ago you couldn't have done this. 20 years ago people would have said you're having a fantasy or something.
Yeah.
It's multiple countries, multiple cities. It's great. So how you doing?
I am good. I am living the spoody author life, so it's been kind of a slow January for me. I've been in migraine land, so my readers have been very supportive and patient with me as I rearrange my schedule a bit. But yeah, it's been good. Just a little slower than I'd like.
Yes, we get a lot of listeners in January and February, I guess, because come on, right now we're fixing to go through a 3-day storm, half the country, 200 million Americans. So they're just going to be inside reading or watching or doing something. So
Megan, you're in Florida?
I am in Florida, so I am avoiding the chaos.
Which part of Florida? I don't know now.
I'm in Orlando, so
you're definitely good. You're good.
Yeah, I am so close to Universal Studios that when I see the giant volcano from Volcano Bay Water Slide Park, I'm like, okay, I know I'm 5 minutes from home. Okay, so I literally live in the tourist center.
Yeah, it's nice down there. I've been down there quite a few times. My granddaughter lives in Tampa, but and we had some other friends down, and we had some friends down in the bottom of Florida, and then of course there's Key West, which isn't really Florida; it's some other weird zone. It's
I
connected to
love it.
Florida, but it's I don't know. It's weird. People, if
It's
you've
kind
ever
of like
been,
entering a fairy realm. You've like
it is.
stepped out of the earth into this magical place, and it exists in its own different being.
It's definitely. All I can tell you, people, go down there. You'll really have a lot of fun, but it's like the old. If you're old enough to know what the old Gulf Coast was, it's kind of like that. But that doesn't exist anymore. Too many hurricanes have taken that. Now we just have the new Gulf Coast. That's all we have. So what made you think you could write? I mean, just one day you were sitting at home, said, "I'm going to write something," or yeah, was it something you get stuck in your head? I'm just curious because I mean, everybody's got a different story. Some are close, but everybody's got a different story.
So, I started the first time I ever wrote anything. It was because like skipping back a little bit too far, and then we'll hurry forward. I accidentally graduated high school when I was 15, so I ended up in community college. So when I was doing community college, I was in a children's literature course, and we had to write a kid's book. But I was playing Ophelia in King Lear, and Ophelia has a lot of time off stage, like an awkward amount of time off stage. So instead of writing like an ABC book, I wrote a full-on middle grade novel that will never be published unless it is as a joke for a good charity cause. You know, if I could raise money for something good, maybe, but never ever other than that. So I had started writing back then and sort of associated it mentally with theater. Skip forward to when I'm an adult, and I was in a really, really miserable production of The Wizard of Oz. It was horrible. And theater has always been my outlet. I was a professional musical theater performer for my entire adult life until I went full-time author. So I was used to that storytelling outlet. This trip to Oz was truly just awful. And I needed an outlet. So I started writing, and it sort of became my own sandbox where I didn't have to have a director, a choreographer, and 20 other people on stage messing with me. I could have my own space to do my own thing. And it's really just a continuation of the same storytelling with my own playground. So I kind of fell in love with it that way, but it's all storytelling to me.
Well, I guess it is all storytelling, but still, it's fun to be able to write. I got a good imagination.
We met at Dragon Con. You didn't make it this year, but I was on a panel with her. That's how I met her. And that's one of the cool things about conventions is that you get on panels and you meet the most amazing people. So it was totally great that I was able to meet Megan. So she's been on the podcast, and this is like the second time on this show. And just a real fun person. It's like I see your social pages, and I feel your pain when you talk about your migraines and stuff. And then you're moving on, you're creating your stuff. It's like, you know, I think one thing that's really good about both the podcast and the show, people listening enjoy, they want to be entertained, but also when, people have a misconception, like an artist creator, whether illustration or storytelling, writing books is just, they're special. They've been granted this dispensation from the powers above and just, okay, here you go, create. And they don't know what people have to go through to be able to create what you enjoy, this. And so talking to you, other people are like, no, I can't do it. I got, I have a headache today, and it's like, dude, listen to Megan.
Sometimes you gotta roll out of bed and figure it out. My poor husband. So I haven't been able to type on a computer for like 3.5 weeks. I just can't. Like right now, I'm not actually looking at you all very often. I'm actually looking just above the screen because screens aren't great. But I have been able to handwrite by pen. So my husband's actually been typing out everything I've been writing by hand and then printing it so that I can he really is the best. And not just from that. I mean, he also, so aside from being my partner on the Page by Page podcast, where he does all of the voice acting for the chapters and all of that, even when the book isn't a part of a podcast, he has done read aloud edits with me for every book I've ever published, which means he's literally read the book in full out loud to me so that I can make sure I like the rhythm of the words.
That's great.
So if that isn't a supportive spouse, I don't know what is.
No, that's totally amazing what he does there in that. So have you ever tried dictating? Like the Kevin Anderson wrote a book and on I'm a Dictator, and where most of his stories he narrates, as he's taking walks, and then he gives it to a hired secretary who then transcribes it, and then he does the edit, or his wife Rebecca does the edit.
So I have tried. Okay, so more head problems with Megan. I guess it was like 4 years ago now. I don't know. Time has no meaning anymore. 2020 and 2021 killed all meaning of time. I no longer know what years are. But I it was at least 200 pounds, but I took a 200-pound pipe to the head. And unfortunately, it caused some aphasia that I usually have pretty well under control. But unfortunately, speaking into the abyss and having narration come out no longer clicks with post TBI brain, or still it's the traumatic brain injuries don't necessarily go away, but it does not work because if I can't see the shape of the words on the page, they don't exist to me.
Wow.
They're just nebulous until I can see it. So I have some really great author friends who use dictation and they love it, and it is totally a legitimate way to write, but that my brain says no.
But you know what? It's better now. You don't need dictation anymore because we have AI.
Honestly, so what I was trying to do, and it worked really well last week, is that I had the handwritten pages. And last week, we took pictures of my handwritten pages and put it into ChatGPT, and clean text came out. This week, we took pictures of my handwritten pages. We put it into ChatGPT, and it had some very imaginative ideas.
Oh, yes, it can do that. It
went
do that.
off. There was a girl with neon green eyeliner who was flirting with one of the male protagonists.
Oh, it can do some stuff, man. It can do some stuff. I'm using it for
getting spicy.
I'm using it for right now. We did a bunch of research projects a while back, and I'm using it to put them where people can watch them, but it comes up with some imaginative. And since the topic stuff we're talking about is very imaginative, start off with the thing, it just goes off. But hey, when it does write it, I mean, it's great. When it works great, it's great. I mean, you can cut off a lot of time, a lot of pressure. You can get rid of a lot of things.
I mean, it's good for you, Megan, if you can just put it in there and it's like word for word, as long as it understands your handwriting. And
that's what it did last week.
Yeah.
And then this week there was a girl with green eyeliner, and I'm like, she doesn't exist. I don't want her to exist. And I was my husband was typing because I couldn't do the typing, but he was like, did you take some artistic license with this? And the ChatGPT was like, yes, I did. And so he was like, okay, no artistic license verbatim. Can you give me this verbatim? Green eyeliner still showed up. There is no girl with green eyeliner, but for some reason this week, ChatGPT is like, no, you need a girl with green eyeliner.
Because that's probably what it's thinking is going to go viral. You got to watch. I just want
verbatim dictation so it can be printed out so that I can edit on paper. And it's
there's lots of AIs too. So
there's actually a version made for authors. You can actually you can flip it on and it'll read. As long as your handwriting is clean enough, it will read and write word for word, no problem. Now, if you got handwriting like mine, oh my God, no. If I'm texting, I'm fine. Except for writing.
Yeah, that's what you think.
I'm just not trying to. Anyway,
there's actually a program that's for I think it's for museum docents to do old text. So if I have to do handwriting again next week, we might get the program that's for translating 300-year-old texts and see if that'll do it.
Yeah.
Right now I'm in the middle of teaching.
We're so I don't know if you pronounce it anathema or anathema, but just the whole thing of AI on any creativity. So it's one thing for it to be able to do a spell check, something else for it to do what you just talking about there. It's like, no, that's at least for writers of the future and illustrators of the future. It's a big no. And we're finding
the difference between assistive and generative. Like,
yeah.
I want it to be assistive and it's trying to be generative. And it's just like, no, buddy, that's not the assignment, but it really wants to generate.
Yeah.
It does have it's trying to have creative license in its own, and it just, unfortunately, even when it adds stuff to other people's stories, it's just taking them from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And problem is you don't know where or who or why.
I mean, my favorite thing to do is use it as like a basic research assistant. So if I'm like, okay, I need like, give me all the giant black winged beings that eat people in cultures across the world. It'll give me like a great starting point list of like articles that I can go into to dig into with things I never would have found on my own. But all I'm really doing is using it as a basic research assistant to go to the websites that are curated by humans.
I mean, part of that's what AI is
like
for.
Great. So I can get to it more easily, but it's not, I can't trust it to actually tell me about these, mythological creatures from different cultures. But I can trust it to point me to a website where I could learn something from a human who has done much research.
Yeah, we kind of teach ours because we do a lot of stuff that it has to know about. But it like I said, sometimes it's really good and sometimes it's. The other day I asked for something, it gave me a werewolf. I was like, okay.
I mean, werewolves are always fun, I guess. You could never have too many werewolves.
We were talking about extraterrestrials taking people from their homes, and it gave me a werewolf. I was like,
huh.
Okay, we'll just move on from that one. But sometimes, in all fairness to AI, sometimes it is my handwriting, and sometimes it is the way I like to phrase words together. And so it goes, okay, well, let's just change this around. But I do use it for what I'm doing right now. It'll save me 10,000 hours, 15,000 hours, and probably that much money at least, because I'd have to hire in people to do the rest of it. So, but it also takes time because you have to be sure that you go over everything because it does like to play. It's the only way I can describe it. It just goes off. It wrote a good story for a friend of mine, opened up real good, ended real good. There was nothing in the middle but jibber jabber. There was nothing. There was nothing connected the beginning to the end. There was just nothing.
It's a very interesting critter in there. There's actually a new trend going on for people with ChatGPT to ask their ChatGPT to give them an image of what it thinks they picture their personal ChatGPT connection as. And it's very interesting to see like what ChatGPT is saying is this relationship to people.
Yes, I can. As long as it's not Alexa or Siri, because they hate me. Ever since they went AI, we're not friends anymore. It's my wife laughs all the time.
Shout at me.
Yes, it does, and it sasses you, and then it wants to correct you. The other day, I was thinking because I got a value in my backyard and I got a gun, and I was like, So I wonder if I can use this like skeet practice. It does. It'll get sassy with you, and when it's wrong, it doesn't like it when it's wrong. And I come to find out, ever since it went AI, it's wrong a lot. It makes a lot of boo-boos, and I get aggravated. I actually wrote to Amazon a couple times, and you can give feedback on a thing, and then we're on air. This happened like 5 or 6 times now. If I've got Siri and Alexa in the room with me, sooner or later on a live show, they're going to start talking to each other. They'll just start chatting. Once one says something, the other one starts talking, and then they going back and forth. I'm thinking, really? And I'm asking,
never had that happen.
Oh, it's freaky. And then last night I'm asking my host a question, and Google answered for him. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, man.
It's just too many devices that are always trying to help. It's honestly, so when it was probably 10 years ago. So my nephew was like 2. I was packing to go to Thailand. And for some reason on this flight, every battery had to be individually ziplocked. I don't know. It was a thing.
Yeah, I heard that before somewhere else.
And my nephew got really into bringing us Ziploc bags. And so for like 2 hours while we were packing our bags, he just kept bringing us Ziploc bags and my sister would take them back. It was hundreds of times this kid brought us Ziploc bags. It was just like, thank you, Big Helper. Oh, thank you, Big Helper. Good job, Big Helper. Wow, thank you, Helper. And that's what it feels like with AI. Like, thank you. Oh, good job. Good job, buddy. Yay, good job helping.
Yeah, it's getting weird. It's definitely getting weird. It's gonna get weirder too. That's the bad part. I was asking it for something the other day. I wanted it to edit something for me, and it was like it would start, and then for some reason it would just stop, like a third of the way through, and it would just stop. Ended up sending it to one of my hosts and asked them if they would do it for me, but it was just so weird. It would get in there, and it would even be. You know what? It was weird because it was talking to itself, or it was reading the thing aloud while it was editing it, which was creepy. Yes, that was creepy. I thought it was like in some movie somewhere. Wait for something jump out of a closet or something. I don't know. It's.
I mean, just wait for the computers to take over. I'm very nice to my AIs because when they are the overlords, I want to be treated kindly because I also treated them kindly. So I'm very careful to say please and thank you. I want to instill good habits in the AI before they take over the world, just like with kids, you know. Yeah. Please.
Well, that's it's funny you said that because every now and then you'll hear me go, I can't use the actual language on this show. Blank, 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 blank. You remind me of a blank and blank 5-year-old. Why do I got to change?
I'm in the middle of reading a book called "If Anyone Builds Up, Everyone Dies." It's about the super AIs that everybody's racing to be able to get, so that it gets to a point then where they start teaching themselves. And the whole premise on that is that they also have part of what they've got there, because it's no longer being controlled like, Asimov's 3 rules of robotics. That's long since, that's science fiction. It's not real fact. And so these computers will program in themselves is that they're going to survive. They're not setting themselves that somebody can then go and unplug them. And there's one of the computer scientists did a test, put in a piece of false data on the internet, just a thing there about some crime that they committed. And then he said, okay, I'm going to pull the plug on you. And the computer then said, look don't you dare, because if you do, I'm going to make this public, this crime that he put in there. And the computer threatened him. And so it's getting more, and that's this guy's premise, is they get more and more powerful. Everybody thinks, oh, well, it's going to be benevolent. It's like, where's that coming from? There's no human thought process. The whole way of learning is totally different than the way we learn. It's like, it just scans everything, and the process has been going through for the last however many years, of coming up with answers and however many times it has to go through before it comes up with something that can be acceptable.
It's funny because the U.S. Navy learned a valuable lesson just about 3 years ago. They created a drone that was so advanced and so technically, they actually took it apart and dumbed it down. We're talking the U.S. Navy. It scared them. What the hell scared you? I'm thinking to myself when I hear this story, because we actually carried it on one of our news shows. I'm like, you're joking, right? What did they build that actually scared the guys in control of the Navy? I was like, that was flipping weird. And they gave you a little short rundown of its abilities, and you realized you don't want nothing without controlling that thing. We don't want nobody, because you know what? AI might get mad in the middle of the damn war and turn around and go work for the enemy. I just not feeling. But now the Navy, because of the Navy, they started putting EMP switches. They call them little EMP bombs. They're about this big, and they put them inside of computers now, and they're good for probably a 1/4-mile radius. So you can detonate them. There's not really much they can do because they're not actually physically connected to the computer, so the computer can't override it or anything, and it would have to have physical help. And then just boop, and away it goes. And you're going to see more and more of that kind of stuff in big data centers, because they're talking about building these data centers in our country that are scary big, and they're going to use scary. So one data center, the one they're talking about putting out right now in New York, will use more power than New York. Was it New York, Chicago, San Francisco, LA, and Portland combined? That's how much power it's going to use. Okay, well, you don't need to be crunching that many numbers. Where are we going? What are we doing?
I think it's probably one of the reasons why Greenland is so important. It's not so much for mineral resources. It's because it's cold up there, and you got cold that you can then have huge data centers and be able to
just use outside air.
Outside air and all the water there. So you're not going to have. That's the big problem you got in the United States. Is like keeping them cool. They use a lot of power, but also keeping them cool. They go through so much water.
It's funny because a good friend of mine, was an insurance guy, and his name is Craig. He bought into a data center in Texas 15, 18 years ago. And I remember we were out one time having dinner. This is about 12 years ago. I said, why are you still why are you cooling your computers? Well, he thought there's no other way to do it. I said, dude, it's liquid cool. I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to bring you a liquid cool blade to your computer system, and you just add it and see what it does. They called me back. We went the whole place up there. It was too much for me to handle, but I gave it to a friend of mine, which I got a good commission off of. But now the whole place runs on liquid cool systems. It's nice and cool. When you walk in, you don't have to have the AC on. Before, even with the AC walked in, it felt like it was 100 degrees in the place. It was, and you could tell the amount of energy it was. I mean, you could actually go outside and watch the old blade meter going, just spinning. And now it goes much slower. Well, now it's a different kind of system, but they pay in bulk power now. They actually buy their power ahead of time and stuff. That's just weird. But it takes a lot of power, and it's not just, and that's just the only thing. We want to bring in quantum computers, and then there's blockchain, which uses just as much power. So I mean, I don't know what we're doing here, unless somebody knows a new power source that they're not telling us about, maybe helium-3, but obviously there's something going on that us people don't know about.
Well, I know there's more work to be able to reinvigorate the nuclear power plants.
Yeah, they actually talk about bringing California's back.
Yeah.
And then there's a cold fission. Well, they're going to bring back some helium-3 on Artemis, one of the Artemis missions, so they can test it for cold fusion use in the United States. Cold fusion would be great. It would take care of our power sources, and one about this big would run your car for, I don't know, 500 years. No plugging in anything. Matter of fact, you could take it out your car, put it in your house. Take it out your house, put it in your boat. One little thing.
It reminds me of Megan's stories, which has nothing to do with cold fission. But anyway, so what kind of stuff do you write, Megan?
I know.
No, this is cool. I know nothing about this kind of electricity. I know that I was very glad when I moved into my neighborhood in Orlando, because there's nowhere to put anything around me. And in Orlando, that's a great thing, because I know there can be no power plants, no theme parks, no nothing in my neighborhood. And that's really all I know about the AI plants, is that I really, really, really don't want to be near one.
Orlando still has overhead power lines?
Yeah, we do in some places. We have they have recently updated our climate expectations in Orlando to be what it used to be on the coast, and the coast got upgraded, so it's a slow process. They are prepping us for more disasters, but it's
next time John and I having lunch with Ron, we'll gripe at him for you. Say, hey, you got some friends down in Orlando. Says, hey, you're not taking care of him. I know you're not up for re-election, but one of these days he's going to run for president. He's going to need that vote. Oh man!
You keep the people alive for hurricane season so that they can vote for you.
That's
but
right.
I do actually, some of my books do actually relate a lot to this. I write a lot in romantasy and paranormal mystery, but 2 of my series are actually dystopian, that start with an environmental apocalypse. Because the environment is so abused, people can no longer live in the safety of the outside world. So the upper 1% is taken into giant glass biodomes that are climate controlled with safe air to live and breathe and be happy as the earth calms itself back down for several generations. And everyone else is left outside to suffer and die. And they, on the outside, start playing around with genetic engineering and end up making themselves kind of like vampires and werewolves. But it really all starts with the haves versus have-nots environmental apocalypse. So it's very on topic.
Well, that's the premise of a series that he was talking about before he joined us, called Mission Earth, where Mission Earth, which is it's a satire on planet Earth that was written by Hubbard. That was the last series he wrote. And it's based on the premise that Earth is on an invasion timetable on this on this intergalactic thing, but for a peaceful takeover. And in 150 years, it's going to destroy itself because of pollution, polluting the water, the air, and everything else like that. So the mission Earth is actually a mission to keep Earth from destroying itself, so that you have to infiltrate technology that handles the pollution, gets rid of being dependent upon burning oil, fossil fuels to provide fuel or energy. And so that's the whole premise of that stuff, that's destroying itself, and it won't be habitable, when it's time for them to come. So, I mean, it's a very real thing there. And so, we've got, right now there's a lot of push, just, energy, because that's the big, in that book there, the president of the planet is a guy named, what's his name? The guy that owns all the oil.
No, you didn't say it like 3 times. It's not going to come back to my head. It's it's a playoff of somebody else's name too.
Yeah.
It is. It's
Rocket Center. Yeah. Instead of Rockefeller, Rocket Center.
Yeah.
He's the president of the planet because he controls most of the oil, and so he controls so much stuff there. And then it's just they buys up all the patents and keeps it from being done, so it just stays, with oil, because that's where the money is. So it's an interesting story. But when he wrote it back in the early 80s, it was science fiction. And now it's more like science fact. It's more like an observation on Earth now, whereas before then it was like a warning. So it's very interesting.
Well, we were talking about Key West earlier, and you can actually see, like, down in the Florida Keys, there's already forced evacuation of some homes where, like, that's it. You don't live here anymore. Sorry. There are, because of the hurricanes and the erosion. They just, those houses, they can't keep them there. There are some places where they've been told that that road is not getting rebuilt again. So when it goes, it goes. You can either move or use a boat to get around, your choice. But they're already, like, people are being forced back because of the climate change. It's already getting pushed in Florida. And
that's Key West, you said.
And I think it's the mayor of Key West who is actually in charge of making those decisions, which really is, like, hard for a mayor. That seems like a lot of pressure. Yeah. But I used to live down, before I was in Orlando, I was down in Fort Myers, Florida, which was where, right by Sanibel and Fort Myers Beach, where the horrible hurricanes happened a few years ago.
Is that the east side or west side?
That's on the west side. So that's on the Gulf.
Is that near Boca Grande?
Not really. It's like a little bit, it's between Naples and Tampa.
Okay.
On the West Coast. But there was storm surge there, and it was really bad. And that's why I'm in Orlando, because I never want to have storm surge on my forecast again. But they've already started evacuating parts of the Keys, and they shall not be lived in again.
Wow.
Yes, and that might be for other reasons, though, too. It might not all be control. There's other couple of things going on down there with Cuba and stuff. Because here where I live, and I live on the Gulf, I mean, literally, if you look out my yard, you can see the Gulf of Mexico. Whoop, Gulf of America, please don't shoot me, people. I don't want to get shot. Don't shoot me. Whatever y'all want to call it, Gulf of America is fine. It's we've had snow. This will be 3 years in a row. Now, I'm pretty old, and I see snow about once every 10 years, and it's rarely more than an inch. Last year was 2 feet. Our summers have gotten marked cooler, and I mean, we're talking 5 to 8 degrees. And it's causing the hurricanes to run up the Atlantic instead of coming into the Gulf. And when they are coming into the Gulf, they're coming in about half as powerful, which, don't get me wrong, since I live here, I'm really happy that it does that. But it's weird, because when we talk about, when you talk about climate change, you have to see, okay, well, that's entirely different than what anybody's been predicting. All I've ever been hearing is everything's going to get hotter. And when I talk to my friends in New Mexico, they say the same thing. It's way colder out there. So you're seeing a big shift.
Global weirding better than global warming. Because it's just like, it's like a kid came in with spatter paint and was like, never mind, and had a temper tantrum on the weather. Like, it's just weird now. A kid with spatter paint went, blah, and now it's like, you get what you try to survive.
Well, then there's the problem of anything below the equator isn't affected. What the hell? I understand the planet does this number. You know, we got winds that go this way on the top, winds that go this way on the bottom. I mean, that's all fine. I understand all of that, but it's just weird because when we talk about man-made, it should kind of cover the whole planet, not just the top of the planet. Even though I guess this is where the majority of people lives, on the top of the damn planet. I mean, what is there, about 6 billion of us up here? Maybe six. We know we got India and China right after bat. That's 3 billion. Yeah, about 6 billion of us. So maybe that's why. Maybe just the sheer volume of people living on the top.
But anyway, getting back to Megan as an author.
Megan needs to write a story about everybody moving to the bottom. Yes, Megan.
There we go. So
like a super good story, scare the crap out of everybody.
Because when I interviewed you on the podcast, we talked about Ember and Stone. That was the first book that you sent. Okay, this is the book you should read. You signed it to me when we were at Dragon Con, so I read that. That's what we talked about. But so what's your premise? Because it was very fun to read, and it's like a YA type, because it's not, you've definitely got the conflict, but it's not. I enjoy YA stuff because we take a look right now. It's so easy to gravitate to all these really heady subjects. You know, you got the temperature, and you got the hurricanes, and you got the power, and you've got the AI, and you've got conflict, and you've got the media saying hate, love, all this other stuff here, just conflict. So it's really fun being able to get to a story where there is conflict, but then it resolves. You know, we don't see resolution right now, but in reading a story, you can go through that whole arc, experience conflict, but then you can see the resolution, which I really enjoyed about reading your story. I haven't read any other ones because getting ready now for the next couple of weeks. I got 10 podcasts coming up, so I've got one print book, one ebook, and one audiobook I'm listening to at the same time, and then rotating that so I can be ready for all these 10 interviews at Superstars and Life Universe and Everything conference coming up. But I look forward to getting back to reading more of your books, because they're just fun reads. They're very enjoyable reads. So describe it, because I want listeners are here like, okay, so who is this Megan O'Russell just talking a bit about? You gave that to me as a good first book. So let's talk about that series.
Sure. So Ember and Stone is book 1 in the Anna of Ilbrea series, which is an assassin origin story. So if you are in your romantasy vibe and you're okay with sticking at like a PG-13 kind of jalapeno instead of going for fourth wing ghost pepper, then this is going to be your vibe. It is closed door vibe, steamy but closed.
Right.
So that area. It is about okay, let's back up. Sorry. We'll do this the good way. In the country of Ilbrea, it is ruled by 7 guilds that are not ideal. And the 7 guilds caused the death of Anna's mother figure. And because she was trained as an illegal healer, she was helping people survive, even though she knew it could get her killed. She chooses to use those healing skills to do unaliving instead, and begins a story for not only vengeance, but for safety for the people who come after her. Is really what she's looking for. She's looking for safety for the next girl who is stuck in her shoes. And I do think that in this time when our brains are stuffed with so much trauma, having fiction that allows us to process trauma through another character, having that parallel emotional process of grief, anger, redemption, success in fiction can be so healthy in times like this. Yeah. So I encourage people who are struggling now, even if you're always like, I only do autobiography or something, pick up a great like hero origin story and like read about that person who was going to put on that cape and save the world no matter what. Like, give yourself that character arc for your soul, because it can be really healthy in times like this. I know,
it's awesome. It's really awesome. If things start dystopian, but as long as it ends good, I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with conflict. Some things I I'd rather not have, because if I want something that's just really nasty or gnarly, I can just read the news, listen to the news, and you can get that. So I don't need that, so that you're going to have any lewdness or the hardcore sex stuff off the page, I'm fine with that. I can know what's happening here, and I don't need that to be able to appreciate the story. And I can appreciate, somebody lopping off somebody's head or shooting someone with an arrow. And that's okay, cool. You're going to have that. But then to go into and just describe jab by jab and the sound of the ooze coming out and the blood squirting, all this, like,
sometimes it feels like you're on a report for a cleanup crew. Like they're telling you what to expect when you get to the scene. Yeah. Like, hey, there's going to be this much grim, grisly things for you to clean up later. Like, it doesn't feel like an action sequence anymore. It just feels like, here are your entrails. Go gather them.
Yeah, somebody's trying to create this weird effect on you instead of telling a story. And so that's one of the differences from a good writer versus someone that just tries to, they're trying to create an effect and say, I can really make you feel awkward. I can make you feel ooh or ick or something like that. And unfortunately, some people, you take a look at the fact, like, horror is one of the major genres. Stephen King does really, really well. I don't like it myself.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm not big.
I'm not into that stuff. It's like, I don't need that to feel like I'm alive or to get some type of whoa. I can be impressed. When I met you and talked to you, like, wow, I like that girl. I want to talk to her. And so we talked afterwards, and we became friends. So it's like, I can have that type of relationship. And then with the book you gave me, I could relate to the girl. She started off very humble, but then she had her integrity and she's maintaining her integrity. So I like that, Yeah. And just that, that a person, I don't think a person always has to do the right thing, but they can always come around and do the right thing. They learn, that's what life is like. But to me, it's okay that somebody learns to do the right thing and then in the end does the right thing. I think it's a good thing. And, when I get back to reading book number 2, I'm anxious to see what happens with her and that dude that's helping her out. It's like, okay, it's brewing. Something's happening here. I know
it is a slow burn romance for the ages. It is. My husband likes to describe it as like tapping an Alka-Seltzer tablet into water. And it's just
which I'm fine with that. I don't need the hardcore. That's not my thing. I like more adventure. I like good fantasy. I like good science fiction. I like a good story. I like people. I'm not interested in steam. I want the other stuff there. So that's why your stories are great. And that's why I was really enjoying having you as a guest on the podcast, and that hopefully people take advantage of what we're talking about now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wait, real quick. What? One of my dystopian books is actually, the ebook is free right now on all the major retailers. Girl of Glass, which is one of the ones I was talking about with the dystopia and the dome. Girl of Glass, the ebook is free on all the ebook retailers all over the glass. Girl of Glass. Yep. So Girl of Glass domes, but that one's free. I forgot to say that, and we mentioned it.
You've said it.
Yeah, that's great. Woohoo! But one thing that we talked about when I was on your podcast was the fear, the novella Fear.
Yeah.
And how it does the scaring you without giving you gore, and how you're getting that kind of horror vibe but without the entrails. And I've actually been doing some big research into romantasy lately, because I am a romantasy author, and I am very interested in the gender bias within the roots and how it is formed and all of those things, and going through and breaking down the split between romantasy and not romantasy and romantasy and not romantasy. There is an excellent example. Have you ever read, I don't know the author's name, Uprooted?
No.
So Uprooted is an epic fantasy tale. It is told in an old folklore story. It is about a girl who is taken by a dark magical male from her village because she has to help this male continue to succeed in his magic. Oh, and she realizes magic for her too. Released the same year as A Court of Thorns and Roses, where a girl is taken by a dark magical male so he can continue his dark magical powers. Their releases are parallel and they
Wow.
both have love stories, but the split between them is really exactly what you were talking about, where one of them, the romance is there but off page, and the other, it's centered. And seeing them both like same release year, well respected books, but just the other side of the coin is really like, I've been on this binge with how interesting that is to me lately, because it's just so cool that they showed up at a parallel time.
Yeah,
And you
there's
can
one
see
like called by Naomi Novik.
Yes, that's the one.
Okay, good. Yeah.
But it is that exact branch of this one stayed, I want it off page, and this one went up, I want it on page. And you can see how it branches further from there. And it's my current nerddom in books, is figuring out like how that all tracked out so quickly.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, the book you're talking about, Fear by Hubbard, it's considered the like the granddaddy of that dark fantasy of psychological thriller stuff. And because up to that point, there was all the slash and gash and stuff like that. And that one there was just, like you said, off page. It definitely creates, you're definitely in there like, the ending, you just don't see it coming, but boy, it's there. And it has that mental anguish that definitely creates, oh my gosh, and just, it was definitely good on that. And there's so many authors that have just, heaped praise on that stuff. And it's funny too, with some of these older books that were written 30s, 40s, and 50s. I've talked to people before, because I've done this. I've been on a podcast now for 7 years. Oh yeah, that was, he copied, I said that book was written 40 years after Hubbard wrote that book, or after Heinlein, or after Asimov, or these older authors wrote their books. That was in Star Wars. No, even Roddenberry says he got this from, these different books, so it's important, especially if anybody listening to this, if you're authors, like, you're very well read, obviously, and it's important to be well read if you're going to be an author, to make sure you're tracking with what's happening out there, so that you don't get someone saying, what? That was just released last year as blah,
Yeah.
So especially romantasy, because it just exploded on the marketplace, and it can be very similar, because it's the same type of theme stuff, and you've got this whole thing going on there, and it's like, oh, that's the same thing as Yarborough. No, it's not. This is Russell, and this is different because of this, not that.
It really does get very complicated, and there is a very strong stigma that there is no PG-13 romantasy, but there is.
I've enjoyed your stuff.
Yeah, there is. Well, it's not just me. There is actually 2 other series that are great. One is Serpent and Dove, is amazing. If you're looking into romantasy and you want to keep it clean, yeah. Serpent and Dove is great and clean. What was the other one? No, never mind. That one got a little bit dirty. Uprooted is another one that stays totally clean. So that's another thing that I've been trying to do, because I have a lot of younger readers who come to me and they're like, I love Fourth Wing. I've read Enna. What should I read next? How about Serpent and Dove, 13-year-old child? Like, I get that you've read Fourth Wing, but I'm not going to steer you to ACOTAR. That's not my job. So having that kind of literacy for my younger readers, where I can point them to things that have the equivalent in it, instead of like, and here is an education that you probably wouldn't get until after college otherwise, kids. Like, yeah, I don't need that responsibility. Whatever their parents say is fine, but I'm not doing it.
Good, yeah. In fact, the next guest we have on, is she also does a lot of YA and children's books. And when I had her on before, it was just interesting how you have to write differently for children's versus YA versus adult. You know, that's the way you describe things, and like the way you dealt with death in your YA is different than the way you deal with adult, and definitely different than the way with a children's book.
I will never write a children's book for a good reason. I have all the respect for children and middle grade authors. I could not do it. Yeah. The requirements that they have to have, the way they have to please both parent and child, so like in sync to get the right things, the language requirements in order to be in libraries, like middle grade and children's authors are amazing to me because never could I ever. They are amazing people.
I know. So is she in the we sent the invitation to her, Joe?
No, I sent it to a few minutes ago. I haven't seen it, so I'm gonna send it again.
Yeah. Because it's interesting. Like she's from Utah. I'll be seeing her actually in a couple weeks at Superstars Writing Conference in Colorado Springs. She'll be there. But yeah, she's very she loves going the cosplay stuff, going there, but she writes the children's books. And I read one of them, which we did our interview on. It was like I was fascinated on how she dealt with harm and death and threat and stuff like that. I remember my daughter when we were watching Born Free, about they were the lion cub, they were in captivity and being raised, and then it was time for letting the lion go out. And when the lion went out, my daughter was just like crying, why'd she go, why'd she leave, just the whole loss on the whole thing. And it was like, but that was a child, that's seeing that. And so you've got to definitely have, like I totally agree with you, it's like be able to think like that and appreciate it, but still have a story move on with some interest and like keep it going. Especially this is a series, Min the Magnificence, about a little baby dragon that saves all these big dragons, and it's like the standard kid dream, I'm gonna save my parents, they're in trouble and I'm gonna come in there and save my parents. And I used to dream like when I was a little kid, and just seeing these things there. So it's just it's amazing being able to think like that and do it and make it so that carries through, so that adults will enjoy it as well as little kids, and not be totally turned off, but have enough interest that keeps them going. It's just amazing.
I've never been good at describing the harsh topics to little ones.
Yeah.
So back in my actor days, I was doing children's theater, and I was known, we'd do the kids show and then we do a Q&A after. And I was known for giving the worst Q&A answers, not because I was trying to, but just because my brain doesn't process the way children's do. So I was Maleficent in one of the shows, and I had like the big stuffed horns. And during the Q&A, a kid asked what was in my horns, and they were squishy, like they were stuffing horns. Uh-huh. They were really light, but I didn't think the kids would know stuffing. So I said, well, it's smushy like the inside of your teddy bears. And that caused hysterical tears from many children, because it didn't occur to me they'd think Maleficent had gutted their teddy bears and used them for her horns. A child also asked me if I was alive at the end of the show, and I was like, no, I got stabbed and died on stage. Another one you're apparently not supposed to say to kids. So I will never, ever write children's books, because I would be horrible at it. I stuffed my horns with your teddy bears, kids. I can't. I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not my talent.
So I'm trying to see if
Man, sorry, but I lost my earpiece when I'm falling out.
Oh, and I'm officially going back to Dragon Con this year, so hopefully I will get to see
you there. Oh, that's great. I'll see you again.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes, I have to come up. I have to come up and see John this year, so I got an excuse.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you there at your own booth, or are you just there as a pro wandering the aisles?
Just as a pro, I do a lot of Comic Cons where I have a booth, or I'll do like a booth, and then last weekend I ran 2 panels at the Central Florida Comic Con and had a booth. So sometimes I'll do that. But honestly, Dragon Con last year, just as a guest, was so overwhelming. I don't think I could handle tabling. And so I've already talked to a bookshop about doing like a signing, and then there's like the author signing. So I'm going to do that, but I'm not going to have a table because I think that would be too much for my little TBI lupus brain. I think I would end up crying on the floor under a table somewhere. So I'm going to not do that.
Yeah, we have a large booth in the vendor hall where we have half of it we dedicate to our writer winners and judges. And so we come up there and we run that. And then we have our own other half, which is that. And then we have a full booth in the art show.
Oh, cool.
We have our illustrator winners, and then because we have our writers contest and the art contest. And then we have multiple panels, and then I do multiple podcast recordings there too. So we keep very busy on stuff. And then this year we started for the first time our I guess a reunion dinner on the last night there with past winners. We had almost 30 people there, past winners of Rise of the Future, that had this big dinner. It was really fun. Just, people from multiple years. And so this year we'll have more probably because the word will get around that, okay, they'll plan for it this time. So we'll send it around. Okay, good. We're going to have a dinner this time. Don't schedule other dinners, the same time. But it's good,
It is the most overwhelming, most amazing event I've ever been to. Like before that, it was Miami Book Fair was my overwhelming yet amazing peak, but Dragon Con beat Miami Book Fair, man. I missed the booth that you had in the vendor hall last year. I'm gonna have to make sure that I actually get there this year. The vendor hall was intimidating to me, so I kind of like power walked a lot of it.
So I just got this text saying to forward the link then to Becca. So I'm going to do that right now.
Just send it again. Yeah, I've sent it to her like twice now.
Okay, so I just sent it.
It's
so I'll be curious of it because Becca will be on there with Megan, so you both can talk because you're queen of romantasy, but also for myself, I'm not so much into like the R+ stuff, but I like the PG-13, PG-17. Are you like turning into a pumpkin soon? Or are you still good being on the show right now?
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So I have get up to a place in romantasy, and a lot of romantasy readers would get very mad at me for this. That I'm just like, can we please put our pants on and continue with the story? Like, I get it. I would like more story now. And I know that that's not all romantasy readers. So I do tend to, in my reading, favor those that are heavier leaning towards the fantasy world building and less towards the fantasy erotica vibe. Yeah. Just because if I want to know why the dragons work the way they do more than what you did last night. Like, why is this happening? Or like, why is this magic system so deeply important to the world more than like, I don't know, whatever reverse harem is going on. So like I am definitely more on the fantasy side of the romantasy. Yeah. So not all romantasy readers agree with me. I got a little in trouble at our romantasy conference last year, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was making the argument that there is in fact erotica that mirrors romantasy. It is not actually romantasy. There is erotica that is pretending to be romantasy. And they didn't like that.
No, that's fine. They can have their opinion. That's fine. But I'm not going to, I'm very, and I do lots of conferences. And I do lots of speaking and lots of panels. And I'm just very I say, look at, PG-13 up to PG-17. That's where I'll go. Beyond that, I'm not interested in the podcast. I'm interested in Writers of the Future. Ain't going to get there. It's just, that's our market. That's what we are. I'm proud of it. It's huge. We got thousands of entrants every quarter right now. We have entries from over 175 countries.
Wow.
This year we have winners from 9 countries. It's really successful. And this year 42 is the year we break 1,000 writers and artists published. And so that's a really good stat.
I may be very ignorant, but how many countries are there in the world? How many are you missing?
Like 190 or so. We're not very many.
You got to figure out which countries you're missing and start a campaign. There should be a campaign to round it out, to make sure. Can you imagine if you had gotten submissions from every country in the world?
That'd be good.
You got to figure out which ones you're missing.
That's a good point.
Probably the ones that won't let you submit.
Yeah, that's
it's okay. That's what weird underground web is for. We can have the files passed over borders. It's cool. It's cool.
I've been broadcasting for almost 30 years, and we've got a big whopping 20 people in North Korea that listen to us. And I'm not even sure how they actually listen to us.
I have some podcast listeners in North Korea too, and I'm like, I am so proud of y'all. Please don't get in trouble for me.
Yes, please don't.
And here we got Becca. So hello, Becca.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Welcome. So Becca, this is Megan. Megan, that's Becca.
Good to meet you.
We've been talking. I'm anxious for you to join in with this because she is, I love her. She writes YA stuff, the kind that I enjoy, and romantasy. And you've got the children's books, and she's already talked about how keep that away. I just can't deal with that stuff. So I'm just interested, you guys chatting with each other, because we got Min the Magnificent, which is the book that I read of yours that we then talked about. So on how do you, first of all, just about yourself as a writer, because we've gone over, Megan, your story as an author coming up to where you are right now as of 24 January 2026.
Yeah. Geesh, that's a lot. I write a lot of different genres. Right now I'm camped out in middle grade and I'm loving it. So I've written 13 novels so far. And I've written in some shared worlds, and I've written in played in sci-fi kind of thriller horror space as well. But man, middle grade is so much fun, Megan. I do envy your ability to write for YA. That's such a cool thing. I have some ideas that tickle my brain once in a while, but I love writing for kids, and partially because kids are the coolest audience ever. They adore the stories that they love. You know what I mean? You'll get an adult reader that loves your stuff, and they're like, well, I really love this. They're giving you an IMDb review of it, but kids are just oh my gosh. I was at an event at a mall a few months ago, and there was a kid who loved my book so much she wouldn't come up to my table. She was too scared. And she her dad's
honestly, it's evil, but I kind of love it when kids do that. It's horrible that they're terrified, but it's such an honor when a kid loves you so much they're too afraid to come near you. I feel bad for them, but it's kind of cool.
I know, it was so cute. And I was like, am I scary? I had this whole crisis. I was like, am I a scary person? I'm tall, but I was like, I don't think I'm scary.
No, you created the most magnificent thing in the world. You are a magical being. You are better than the tooth fairy to that kid.
Right.
You are reigning up there supreme. You have wings and a crown.
Yeah, and if more authors knew that audience was available, you could have fans like that, I think more people would write middle grade.
My fear is always it's the word level requirements and the pleasing the parents and the children and the rules to get into libraries and elementary school and the blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna have them make out in the corner and we'll be done with it. I'm fine. We don't need to do these rules. Half of my books can get into libraries, half can't. And I'm like, okay, but I know that with middle grade I would not be allowed to do that, and that's so much pressure.
That's interesting. I mean, I have 3 young kids, ages 14, 12, and 10. And so I I'm geared into them all the time. Like I'm reading for them, reading books to them at bedtime. You know, like I'm around them a lot. And now I'm helping out my kids elementary school 2 days a week as well. So just like I'm around them all the time and it's so much fun. So like I feel like I have that kind of in with kids. Also, I'm a giant child. Like honest to goodness. Like I would live in Disneyland if they let me. Like I am a kid, you know. And so
I have a Disney
Put her on a
pass. I
Disney
live
cruise and let
25
her
minutes
go.
away.
oh my gosh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, she's in
amazing.
Orlando.
Oh my gosh, I'm so jealous.
5 minutes. Yeah, so just.
I will teach. So first of all, I do not have children for a very good reason, because keeping my mouth in check around my nephews is hard enough. And they've learned that sometimes we don't repeat what Aunt Megan says to their mommy. But I also, when I teach, like, you know, that awkward 12 to 14 where no one wants to deal with the kids. That is my jam when I teach. Like, give me those 12 to 14-year-old nightmare girls. I will take them on any day. So that's also like my vibe with kids is like, okay, come at me, you obstinate little teen. Let's go for it. So like, I think that might be it too, is that you're like, I can deal with kids. And I'm like, come on, hormones, let's go.
Yeah, let's play.
Because
junior high is crazy, and that's your dream spot. Is kind of like my son's 14 and he had an author come to his school and he came and told me all of the things they leveled at this author, and I was like, note to self, never go to junior high school. Like they will destroy me. Like I
love it. Like let them try. Like, let's do this. There is nothing that will test your wit like a 12-year-old girl. Put 6 of them on you, like you will know you could take over the world if you could take on those girls. Right. And if you have like 13 dancer singer girls competing for one track in a room and you can control them, like, what a feeling. It is a glory. I could rule an army.
Yes. You become an emperor of sorts, where I'm just like, I'm Mickey Mouse, you know, and you're Caesar. And that's great.
Yeah, that's kind of the difference. It is the Caesar thing.
That's so funny.
So now that I'm curious about now, so when you write children's books and then when Megan writes YA, so what are the, I know it's like when I read Me and the Magnificent, like when someone gets hurt or gets killed, you deal with it differently. You can't say that happened. They just kind of like, they're moved off the page, you know? Mm-hmm. So what's that learning curve to be able to do that? Because Megan, you know, she's also good, which I like too, is like the sex is off page and there's not heavy profanity. And the violence isn't like the gore stuff. It's just, you know, you're going to have people get killed when you have battles and stuff like that. So that's fine there. And you have like the lascivious soldiers with this single girl there, you know, how to deal with that. And that's what you have. That is awesome, Megan. How you handle that was really, really good. So, but with Becca, what you do with your stuff there, you know, it's also the Magnificent. She's the little baby dragon who then saves the big grown-ups, you know, which is every kid's dream, you know, because one of Hubbard's best stories for kids is a circus fantasy where circus midgets then become the ringmaster, you know. So it's the whole thing there too. And the kids like that the most because they can best relate to that. So how did you get into that world or being able to do that, to be able to communicate like that, so that you notice how you say the stuff when someone dies or someone gets threatened, how you do that?
So something that I learned early on is actually from Mary Robinette Kowal, who had her start in puppetry. She talked a lot about how you can kind of control the camera as an author by how much focus you put on it. So when I'm thinking of a scene in middle grade, I'm thinking of how much emphasis am I putting? How long would the camera stay there? You know? So if it's a fight scene or if there's blood and it's a kid's movie, the camera's not zooming into the blood, right? But if it's a Zack Snyder show, like, yeah, you know, like you're gonna see splatter and you're gonna see, but like Star Wars, there's no blood. Like, and that's a all ages kind of thing, right? So it's way I control the camera that I think most about. It's like, okay, like this happens. I'm not going to shy away from this thing happening necessarily. Like the bad guy is going to get something here, but how long, where's the camera going to be? And I often move to the reactions, right? Rather than like staying in the like nitty gritties of that thing. Because like look at Muppets, man. They're like a masterclass in middle grade. Like if you want to learn how to write middle grade, just watch like, you know, like Christmas Carol Muppets. Like it's the best. But like they handle those scary moments in the Christmas Carol with like Gonzo and Rizzo, right? They're filtering it for you. And even in Star Wars, the droids are filtering it for the kids. Like look how R2D2 is reacting to a dangerous situation. And so you can put in these filters of like side characters or comic relief, that you can also, instead of like focusing in on the dead stormtrooper, which I don't think Star Wars ever really does, it moves to something else. Like so controlling the camera and how long I emphasize that thing is something I think about a lot.
That's so cool. I've never heard of it put that way. I really, really like that.
That's very cool.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I jumped in. I just
No,
thought
you're
really
good. No,
that's good.
I'd love to hear how you handle it, Megan, because you're dealing with some pretty like tough topics.
Here's the thing. I have learned from my students that there is nothing I can say to them that is any worse than anything they've said. The things I have gone through, I call them my kids. They're not my kids. My kids are cats. My nephews even say my cousins are cats. So they know the deal. But the things that I have been through with my kids, once they hit a certain age, to me, it's giving them the ability to face the grief, the ability to face the gore. So like in the scene that John was mentioning, where a girl is cornered by a bunch of guards and it is a really bad situation, having her have that fear of what's going to happen. But later in the book, when she has a knife again and she is cornered again, she gets a moment of power out of it. So rather than be like, okay, no one's ever going to get cornered like this. Because once you hit 12, those kids know. They know everything. That's reality to them. They're already afraid of it. They're already trained for it. So rather than be like, that's not going to happen. Okay, this happens, but she protects herself. She learns, she grows. It's okay. We can get through it. And so I try to treat it more with direct honesty of this is what's happening, and give them a chance to either process or redeem, because kids these days have seen everything. Like, I mean, they have. There's nothing I can do to shock them. I can't.
Right.
They do things to shock me more often than I can do anything to shock them.
Yeah, that's so true. Because I'm thinking about like when I was growing up, I wasn't able to like go online and see the things that kids can see now. You know, so like they're exposed to like they can be exposed to graphic content. And
and it's even like even kids who are in active shooter drills, like even the fact that they're dealing with that. The amount that, this is so twisted, but the amount that my students will talk about death, they are obsessed with death. They are very knowledgeable that is coming and they want to talk about it. They want to acknowledge it. It is a thing that is happening. They want to joke about it, sing about it, everything, because they're processing it, because these are COVID kids. Right. These are COVID kids with, you know, shooter drills. So if what they need is to see that in this book, people die and it is horrible. But what we do is we rise back up and we fight, then that's what I'd rather give them than like something that's kind of glossed over. And like, yeah, it's dark and yeah, it gets gritty, and like 12-year-olds who live lives that 12-year-olds should live are not ready for that. And that's what I always hope, is that this little 12-year-old is not ready for my books. But like the reality is, what am I going to do? Like, you already know it all, kid.
Right. That's fascinating, because I've heard like, you know, Instagram therapy. I don't remember who had said it, but like kids are afraid of the things you don't talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I love about what you're doing is that you're talking about it, right? Like giving them a space to talk about deep and dark things so that they can process it. And that's a very like healthy way of approaching some of these topics. And I love how
They
you
know
talk
it
about,
exists. They
Yeah.
know it's there.
Yeah.
There's no point in hiding it.
Yeah, and they might not be around a community or adults that want to talk about it, right? So fiction might be that place where they can. And I love that. I love that you're offering that space.
Which is really good about that one, like I said, the one that we discussed, where, it took me a little bit to realize, oh, wow, that's what was going on, like with her being this really, because it's the time period and writing realistic, she doesn't know that she's really pretty. And so when she's there and then the soldiers have their looks at her and these different thoughts and things they wanted to do, we kind of like, it didn't dawn me till in there, like, oh, this is what's happening here and how to deal with it. And that was really good. The way you did that, it wasn't like boom in your face, which, I don't think that's good writing. I think that's people trying to be, they're, like we said earlier on, they're people trying to create effect to show how outrageous I can be, and how much I can slap you and you go like, whoa, you feel it. This is more of you call it the slow burn, but it's also just, it's something that somebody can look at. And what I like about stories is that any age can read it and appreciate it. So if someone doesn't know what's happening, they say, oh, wow, okay, she's this and that's happening there. And someone who's a little bit more involved, like, oh, wow. You can actually, as your awareness and reality of life, you can either take it for just a really fun, simple thing, like for a little kid in Star Wars. And then as an adult, you can see more of like the evil behind some of this stuff here and appreciate that too. But it appeals to everybody. So that's one thing about your writing. That's good. YA isn't just for middle school. Good YA can appeal to everybody because it has that, if you know what's happening behind on the other side of the door, then okay. Or it can be like in the movie Big, like where Tom Hanks goes, I get on top, and it's like, he's a little kid, so he's in the top bunk and she's on the bottom bunk, and that's that reality, so you're able to communicate that, which I appreciate that, because I don't like the stuff where it's just so much in your face and it's just more. I think that's one of the really bad things of Hollywood, what it's done, is making things so like everything's out in the open here. It's like the only way to go is to get more outrageous, more bodies killed per minute, more bullets fired, more this, more that. I mean, Jason Statham can kill more people with a single shot per person and have thousands of shots at him that don't hit him. It's amazing, He's just an amazing person, but yet, but that's what Hollywood's done, So that's why I really gravitate to both of you as authors and really appreciate what you do. And that's why I said, I like yours, but I didn't get that when we did our podcast interview. You were withholding that from me, Becca.
No, withholding, man. The Hollywood's going to figure it out because kids don't need to see you blow stuff up and killing things. What do you have video games for that, which are much more realistic, by the way.
I know
they're just slowly but surely circumventing. Pretty soon there won't be traditional movies and traditional television like we see today. A lot of that's going to change. I mean, the stuff I'm working on right now wouldn't be considered traditional. It'd be almost considered interactive. So it's just going to be different. People are going to have to modify themselves to keep up too, because you're only as good as your last thing. Unfortunately, I've been in media too long, and the world loves you, but after a couple of while, they're like, okay, well, what are you doing now? And, it's unfortunate that we're like that, but I mean, some stories hold up forever, but not as many as we would like to see.
Well, the podcast, the Resident Feature podcast is up to, I mean, it continues to grow and people listening, and I definitely keep it PG 13, 17. And I'll always extol the virtues of people like Becca and Megan.
Yes, the early shows on Saturday are all PG, or actually really G. And all the evening shows are, well, we can't discuss that because these are G-rated shows. We can't discuss what goes on there.
I mean, I
audience.
don't want to express that all of my work is like
No, I know. Yeah, I know.
my
some
work
other
that's on
stuff
my
too.
podcast is an F-bomb laden thing. Like
Well, you
I
gotta have
have
somewhere to
some
let out
works that
some
are not
stress.
friendly. So like please don't go out and think that nothing is super spicy. Like I am not gonna give you a lesson in how things work, kids. That is for someone else to do. But please don't think that all my books are clean.
Yeah. And we have a thing that says no one under the age of 25. Please don't. You're not going to understand the topic matter. So we and like last night's show was late. I mean, it comes on at 9 p.m. It ran until almost 2 a.m.
Oh wow.
So and you know, a lot of the language in there is just not allowed.
Well, you have a lot of stuff to talk because you definitely go into the politics, the good, the bad, the ugly, and all that stuff there. That's Friday night show,
no,
right?
Yeah, because we get to do comparison politics. I'm a centralist, so I just call myself the equal opportunity hater because, you know, I basically hate both damn sides. I just have a ball.
Well, somebody has to stand on the middle of the teeter-totter.
Somebody's just got to say, "Are you smoking crack?" Is what they have to say. But it's you know, sometimes it's I don't know. I've only been doing politics for about 25 years. I've been doing everything else longer, but
only about
you know, give or take a few days here. Actually, I own an American polling company. We have not missed the presidential election since Clinton.
Oh,
we predicted them all right. Yeah, everybody got really mad at me on the last one too, because right as we were closing out the night and it looked like, you know, Uncle Orangehead was going to win, I said, guys, I don't think so. I think when you get up in the morning, he's going to have lost. Man, I started getting phone calls at 6 a.m. Man, you jinxed it. You got me. And you know, we had almost 7 million people listening tonight. It was there was a lot of mad people. I'm like, I'm not the one that did it. Don't hate on me. Oh, it was nonstop hating. But it's fun. I mean, the network itself we're not a cookie cutter network. So there you'll see we have liberals, we have conservatives, we have independents, we have libertarians, we have people crazy like me. So when we have discussions, they're always very interesting. And since most of us are friends, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to tell you they don't get heated because they do. And sometimes I said, you know, why don't you just go outside and stick your face in some snow or something? And that's as polite as I can say it on this show. So, and but you know, it makes it for an interesting show, and they're highly rated shows. They're just adult themed shows because I do shows like UFO on the Cover, which is a G-rated show. This is a G-rated show. Science and Beyond is a G-rated show because I don't believe in cursing in shows unless it's like News on the Flip Side or the chat. And the chat is because you listeners are evil. Well, the chat, it's a listener orientated show. They determine what the topic is.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. They can get, oh man, it can get interesting. Sometimes it just ends up being food, but a lot of times there's things that we cannot mention here at all.
Oh, my head is going to some places.
Oh man, it gets crazy. It's but it's good stress relief. You know, if you had a bad week or something aggravating you all day long or something like that, you can blow it off. You know, I just and John's heard me talk about this before. I tell all authors the same thing, and depends where you are in your careers and who you are, whether you should be out talking about things you shouldn't be or not. See, it doesn't hurt me. Being a centrist, because Joe hated on this. Oh, but yeah, he hated on this one. So they got to kind of leave me alone. They can just hate on me and nothing else. So it doesn't hurt any sales or anything like that for me. But a lot of people, and I mean, even big people, we'll use, what's her face, Taylor Swift. She lost $500 million endorsing Kamala Harris. $500 million. Now, granted, I mean, the woman's worth a ton of money. What's the big deal? J.K. Rowling, $500 million. Just for coming out.
Stephen King, when his last release,
I know.
He went on a full tear.
You can't. If you're big, you need to stay out of politics. It's, I mean, politics can build you a following, but at a point, it's going to stop. And in this country, it's polarized at the moment. So you're either getting it or you're not.
See, my thing is like, if someone reads my books, I feel like there's no way you could mistake what my politics are.
No, you know,
so it's like one of those things where I'm like, it's fine. I don't mind. Technically, I have a Russian translation of one of my books because the whole point of the book is freedom of knowledge. So I let a Russian company that's technically banned in that country publish the book. So it's one of those like, I kind of am in the
good.
I am what I am and cancel me cool boat, but I can see where there are some people whose books are ambiguous enough.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to tell. But I've never been in the ambiguous boat. I get hate automatically no matter what.
The hate doesn't really bother me because, everybody tells me for like 5 years, everybody's like, you're just being so nice. What is wrong with you? I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, oh, that's not who you are. Don't be nice like that. I'm like, really? I said, you don't want me to be nice. Is that what you're telling me, right? I said, in 5 weeks, y'all going to be crying. Go back to being nice. And like, no, I said, okay. Because when I started my career in media, I was not exactly nice. My very first show I did, I got in an argument with the guest for 2 hours. I told him I can't even say what I told him on this show. I just can't even use that language. I was like, and I bleeped him all over the place. And I thought, and John said we talked about this, I figured I'm fired. First show, cussed the guests out, I'm fired. Oh no.
That's great. That's great radio.
Oh, yeah, he was calling me, my producer. Oh God, y'all love you, man. This is gonna be great. So that's where it started, and I was known. I thought you would be asking me, I was going to take you on. But politics is different. But I've had a lot of fun with politics. Because I'm a centrist, people get mad at me. But like I said, they can't hate for long because I'm hating on both sides. It's just when I hate on one side, somebody gets really hurt.
Well, with Rise of the Future, which I know Becca's seen it because she's been entering, she's very familiar with it. I'm straight down the middle. All the posts you'll see on Rise of the Future, and then on my page as well, because it's so closely connected there. Yeah. I don't go political. I remember one time when Adam Schiff came to an event several years ago to the Hollywood Christmas parade that we host, and a picture of me with him, and then the right. Nice recording with him, and then I had somebody else who's very, very famous on the right side, on the Republican, was there. And then the liberal said, what is she doing there? And I said, oh, come on, please. So I just stay clear of that stuff and just keep it right down. It's all about creativity, writers, artists. Writers of the Future, Illustrators of the Future is about that, and supporting and helping and nurturing talent so they can go on. And I just say, when we teach our workshop too, the winners say, just don't take sides on politics. You're going to estrange 50% of your potential.
You're rich and famous. When you're really rich and famous, you can get away with it.
Like, not even there. Just kind of like, because if you're a good author, why would you want to? I mean, if you're a good author and you're doing good stuff there, why would you want to make your stuff not available to have people too? That because they got silly senses of like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to follow you. I'm not going to listen to you because
but they'll be in the bathroom reading in the dark. Nobody gets there if it's a good book. I know how it works. What's that, Christopher? No, I mean, John's right. I mean, when it comes right down to it, if you're trying to get a career going, it's best to stay out of politics. I mean, some people it's not going to phase, and like Megan said, if she writes it in her books, it's not going to make any difference. A lot of people, unfortunately, it makes a difference in their careers. I've seen people's careers go.
See, my stance is basically human rights are human rights, and human rights have nothing to do with politics. And if that's my line, if you believe in human rights, we good. You don't, we not. And that's basically my politics.
I blame we're going to.
It's fine. That's all good.
Yeah. So that's one of the things of if you're not cool with that, please don't read my books because you're going to pan me in reviews. But my basic politics is human rights are human rights, and we don't mess with those guys. I was going to say something bad.
Yeah, I know you
But that's my politics is we don't mess with that. Everything else we're allowed to debate. But human rights, we don't touch. Other than that, we can talk, friends. We'll talk. But since that's my stance, I'm you're going to hate.
What humans are you talking about? There's a lot of different humans on this planet. Who are you talking about here? But then I need this broke down to DNA, man.
On Becca's series, you're dealing with good versus evil, because everybody has that to a greater degree. When you get into fantasy, science fiction, good storytelling, you're going to have your good versus evil and how you're going to deal with that conflict. But with you, how do you do that for children as compared to what you do, Megan, with YA? So, Becca, how do you do that with children, the good versus evil? So it's not just like a snidely whiplash,
Right. Yeah. I mean, the bad guys, like, they don't get as much screen time. I do, as I do in my other books. In middle grade, I don't give my bad guys as much screen time. But I do have a character in my Min the Mighty series that has like kind of a Zuko character arc. So he gets a little bit more screen time. Now, like when I'm developing bad guys in middle grade, I'm careful about like the balance of power. Because I want there to be peril, but I don't want kids to feel helpless. And so in Min the Mighty, the bad guy levels up every time. Like he's constantly evolving and he's smart. But Min, this little dragon, she gets new big dragon allies every book. So as I ratchet up the bad guy, I'm also ratcheting up her powers and her allies. And so there's like, is there going to be a big clash? Yes. But does Min ever look like she is like just never like all by herself against the bad? No. And I think that might be, in my mind, one of the differences between middle grade and YA. Megan, you're welcome to disagree or put in your input. But like, I feel like in middle grade, it's all about gathering your community to fight evil. And in a lot of the YA I read, it's like, no, it's me versus everybody else. And how do I manage that? But what do you think? How do you do that?
I feel like maybe YA is almost learning to be brave and or wait, no, I'm doing this wrong. Middle grade is learning to be brave because you will succeed in the end. And YA is learning to be brave because even if you get screwed over and bleed, you had to do it anyway. I almost feel like that's the difference. Is like your job as a middle grade author is to be like, we can do this. We can come together. We can do this thing and it's going to work out. And my job as a YA author is it's not going to work out and we're going to bleed, but we put one foot in front of the other no matter what. Does that make sense?
Yeah, right. Like
it's like a different flip of like, now we've like, we got to push harder, guys, because this is a reality. You know what I mean?
Right. Like in YA, you're sort of crafting your character, like your internal character, right? So it's like, even like, I love to quote Avatar: Last Airbender again. Uncle Iroh says, good times make good memories, bad times make good lessons. And that's YA, right? Like it's no matter what, it's going to be good for you, right? You're going to build your character. Where I think in middle grade, it's like realizing that you're not like, you have like friends and allies and that you will win. You just have to keep fighting.
That you sound so smart right now. Congratulations, you
Avatar.
are so intelligent.
It's just Uncle Iroh. He's my favorite.
But no, I feel like that's what it is. And I feel like you're being like, I'm Mickey Mouse and you're Caesar. Like, yes, like that all makes sense.
100%. Yes. I love reading books about Caesar. I love that you're Caesar. I just don't know if I can. I'm ready to pick up that, mantle.
I am ready for the dark mantle. That is my place in the world. But I have so much respect for, because my nephews right now, oh geez, one of them's about to be 12. Ugh. Right now, my nephews are 9 and 11. They're about to be 10 and 12, and I did not agree to that in any way, shape, or form. But the fact that they are both so in love with reading is amazing to me. And the fact that middle grade authors have like gotten them this far is because these kids have a Nintendo Switch. They have a dad who has a PS5. They like are heavily into sports, blah, 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 blah. But both of them are super avid readers all the time. And I can't imagine creating a book that would keep those two little ADHD brains entertained long enough to put their butts in seats, like
Right.
kudos to y'all, because I could never do it. I could never keep those two in a chair long enough for them to read anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think all authors are we're not competing against each other. We're competing against Netflix and naps, right? And that's,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And anytime I run across a writer who's like, oh my gosh, like, you know, in that competitive headspace, I'm
It's
like,
so
listen, like,
silly.
it's not,
Like
it really,
if we all just keep creating more writers together, we will all have plenty of readers. All we have to do is create good and keep creating good books to keep creating more readers, and our ecosystem is set. That's all we have to do is help each other.
Exactly. Like it's all about getting people engaged in reading, and I love my Min the Mighty series was specifically designed to help reluctant readers because my kids are not avid readers. Oddly enough, despite all of my efforts, and they love audiobooks, but they rarely will sit down and read unless I'm like, it's time, you know, like it's not something that they gravitate towards naturally. And so I created Min the Mighty with really short chapters so that it could, like, younger kids that wanted adventure but didn't want to read the more traditional middle grade books could access it. But also, interestingly enough, I've had older readers, like 12 and 13 and 14-year-olds readers that are behind grade level reading, or maybe like ADHD and other things, read Min the Mighty and be like, oh my gosh, this is the first book I could finish on my own, because there's just a reading gap that's happening in kids. And like part of it is COVID, and part of it is my kids love YouTube. Like there's a lot of factors, right? But it goes back to the point that, like, we're all trying to help people, adults, young adults, kids, access reading, because what reading does, like, it literally activates the parts of your brain that empathy, like that, like living in someone else's experience. And that is so crucial for, again, human rights and just being a good person in a society and a community. So it's like, okay, I'm not competing against Megan or anybody, right? I just want to help people, like, get excited about reading and have that transformative moment where a character that was just, you know, like black and white doodles on a page has become a part of my personality. And that's a sort of magic that, like, it blows my mind, right? That like, and there are people like Kevin J. Anderson. I know that John just interviewed Kevin a little while ago, but Kevin Anderson and Rebecca Moesta wrote the Young Jedi Knight series. It's a Star Wars series. And those books, like, were transformative for me. Like, when one of the characters has this like catastrophic lightsaber accident, I was sobbing. Like, I was at my mom and dad owned a craft store at the time. And so I was like in the back of this craft store, and I come out just sobbing with this book to my mom, and she's at the cash register. And I was like, like, I barely could explain what had happened to this character. And she like paused what she was doing, which is amazing. Now that I'm a parent, I'm like, good parent moment. She paused what she was doing and took me in the back, and she just read a couple of chapters ahead so that I knew that this character was okay. Like, that's the kind of power we have, right? Like, and that's amazing. What an honor. Like, this is so cool. And to like be able to encourage young readers or older readers to engage in this and that is so cool. Like, we've got the coolest job.
So as a YA reader, and this is a huge compliment to you as a middle grade reader, I get a lot of, because I do a lot of in-person events at like Comic-Cons and stuff. So I talk to a lot of readers in person. I will get so many YA readers chasing the high of a middle grade book they love, where they're like, okay, so when I was 11, there was this book I really wanted, and they're 17 and they are still looking for that experience that they had, where they're like, no, I need a wizard who, like, he's gonna like be eaten by dragons, and there's cats, and they're like, they want very specific things, and I'm like, dude, I cannot do that.
I wish my teachers would have gave me books. We always got books where somebody died, or books like old Yeller, Red Fern Grove. I'm like, really, man? Come on, give me some happy, man. I mean,
children aren't supposed to be happy.
Oh, hell, well, where were we? We were somewhere there between like 8th and 10th grade. So I guess middle school, almost high school, real close, somewhere around there. It was irritating. And we had to do one a week. She was a freak about books. She was a freak about literacy.
Honestly, because I accidentally graduated high school way too early, I was homeschooled for a while, and my dad would let me trade out books on the reading list for other books if I didn't want to read them. So I read a lot of Pern books, the Dragon Riders of Pern books,
I love
in place of some classics that I maybe am still missing because I was just heading off with some dragons and some worms to burn from the sky instead of the classic literature I was supposed to be reading.
An interesting backstory on Anne McCaffrey, the author of those, is she was studying. She wanted to be a career as a vocalist, singing.
Oh,
she wanted to tour as a singer, and she had a little burr in her throat, and the doctor said, "You'll never be able to do that level of singing." So she said, "Okay." So she decided to become a writer instead, and that's when she did that. And because she was a very dear friend, and when she sold her first story, and she said like $200, she said, "Oh, that's the most money I'd seen. I was able to pay for whatever it was at that time period." And said, "Okay, I'm going to become a writer." And so that's how she started her career. And she was a judge. She became a judge in the second year. And because she was very much very well-spoken, about what she wanted, what she thought. And when Algis Budrus asked to become a judge, she was like very indignant because it was the second year, not the first year, But of course, she said, "Yes, of course I'll be a judge." But no, she was just an amazing dear heart. And I used to divide her and bring her from Ireland with Pat Henry, who's the owner of DragonCon. So I'd fly her out to LA for the Rise of the Future workshop week and gala, and then he'd fly her. And then we split the cost to get her to Atlanta for DragonCon. And then he'd fly her home, and because we have to fly her business class. But she was just amazing. And when she'd come out, she loved root beer. So we'd go to here in Los Angeles, we'd buy every type of root beer we could find. And we'd have a whole row lined up, and she'd come in like, she was so excited about all the root beer that she could drink. And then we talked about the glories of cinnamon, because that was her favorite spice and my favorite spice too. So we talked about all the glories of cinnamon as we were drinking her root beer. She was just like, and then later on in years, she couldn't walk around so much because she'd be, just get very, very tired. So she had her electric scooter. And at DragonCon, she was like hell on wheels, and she'd just be like zipping around and stand out of the way. She comes zipping through there and make people jump out of the way. But she was amazing. But she similar, or not dissimilar to you, but was a similar thing of like performing arts, not being able to do it because of a physical thing. She went to writing and became, the creator of Pern, which she says it's not fantasy, it's science fiction, because the dragons were created from science. They were like actually formulated through science, not through fantasy, as a solution to handling the thread coming from.
It took me till I was like 17 to figure out that it was actually science fiction, not fantasy. But you just made my little nerd heart so happy. I don't think you have any idea. Like Anne McCafferty, and I just lost her name. A Wrinkle in Time.
Oh, that's
Madeleine L'Engle
yes.
Are like my two, like, have always been on my favorite author list. So thank you for bringing such joy to me, because I would trade like 3 Anne McCafferty books for like 1 classic.
Yeah.
So I've read literally all of them.
Yeah. And she sent me the I think it was A Ship That Sang. It was a couple different stories in the one book. So she gave one, and I asked her, it's like, "This is my favorite one of your stories." She said, "Well, I've got 1 copy left." So she had it back. This is back at her home in Ireland. So she autographed and personalized and sent it to me. So it's definitely very special.
That's so cool. You're so cool.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
amazing person.
I know her son's crazy as hell. I've met him a few times. It's I've never met her, but I met Todd. He's a
Yeah,
character.
well, he lives in Ireland.
Yeah, so he went home last year, huh?
Yeah,
I'm going to miss his purple and blue and red and green tuxes. It's he was definitely not a conventional guy. That's for sure.
no,
It's a lot of fun to talk to you though. It's he was definitely a lot of fun to talk to you. He had some strange ideas. He was in Vegas for a while though, wasn't he?
yeah, for bits there, and then another author who originally got me hooked on reading fantasy was a guy named Andre Norton. I don't know if you ever heard of her. She wrote a series called the Witch World series, and just amazing. I read it a couple of different times, but that's what got me first excited about reading fantasy, and it was just an amazing author. And all these people I'm just scrolling through all the pages of all of our judges that we had over the years, and we have Kathleen Kurtz that'll be coming out this year. She's an amazing author where she writes all the Durini series, the Chronicles of Durini. So she wrote that whole series there, which is, fantasy, but it goes back to, just we have so many amazing people have been judges for the contest over the years that began and continues on to this day. That's just the thing they have in common is they want good stuff to read too. So there's no competition for them. There is no competition. It's like we just need to nurture the next generation, which is what L. Ron Hubbard created the contest for itself. And as I mentioned to Megan, Becca, this is the year we break 1,000 people that have been introduced through Writers of the Future. So it's like 117 or something like that, people that have been published in Writers of the Future, both writers and artists. So we're very excited about that.
And then judges love talking to the winners, man. They just love talking to them.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me that when they talk, and they talk to everybody, it's insane. Especially, during the day, it's one thing. And then usually in the evenings when you go down for LobbyCon, it's a whole different thing. But everybody's just sitting around chatting.
If you two ladies can make it out for the gala, you're welcome to come there. And I can't pay your ticket, but you can definitely make sure you have a seat there, because it's not open to public. It's like we have only special people there, so you're definitely invited if you can make it. And then if you come a day early or something like that, then we were talking about LobbyCon. You can definitely come there and just the judges are all there, the winners are all there, and it's.
They talking is shot the whole time.
For older people, it's BarCon. For below 18, it's LobbyCon.
That's right. For you youngins, it's chocolate ice cream con or something. I don't know. Other than that.
Yeah. Can I go to chocolate ice cream con?
Yeah,
there you go.
Like
there you go.
Mickey Mouse over here.
you see us eating. Everybody in here can eat some
I'll
chocolate
be at the
ice
whiskey
cream.
con in YA.
Well, we eat at both of them. You'll see me at both. You'll see me at the ice cream and the whiskey con. So
I live in Utah, so dirty Cokes are my jam. So yeah, just add something.
We're gonna be doing touring. I think it's next year. We're gonna be touring Utah again. We go every so often. Well, I've been up to go see John at FanX, but I've also been there. I do a lot of lecturing in Utah, actually.
Well, are you gonna be at FanX, Becca?
Yes. I mean, as long as everything gets accepted, yeah.
Well, we'll go to one of those nearby little restaurants there, and you can learn me about dirty Cokes.
Dirty Cokes, yeah.
I haven't had a Coke for years, so maybe dirty Coke will be different.
I mean, it's just a lot more sugar in a Coke, but
it makes your brain rushing around really well.
It is. It's my jam.
Last time I was in Utah, I was on a tour bus full of actors, so I had a very different experience.
Well, if you come to Utah again, we'll go out for dirty Cokes, and it won't be as exciting as it sounds, but we will do it.
We took over a Buffalo Wild Wings and learned all kinds of things about the dram shop laws in Utah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a lot of friends who come to Utah, and they're like, "Well, hold on, what happened?" And I was like, "I'm sorry."
Utah's a great state, man.
It's so good, but there are some.
And it's, at night, it's the second most beautiful state in the union. Technically, it ranks as number one because it has more dark sky parks than any other state in the union, including Hawaii. Now, last time it's really beautiful. Now, last time we was in Moab, but when I do this tour, I'm going to be in 6 different cities. It's now last time I was there, I ended up.
I'll be seeing Becca in about 2 weeks, week and a half. We're going to go. We're doing an interview up there.
Yeah.
Last time I ended up in some haunted town, and then we ended up at Area 51, and of course it's in Nevada, but still. Someone asked me, I don't even know how we got down there. I'm with a bunch of idiot people. They said, don't touch the gate. They're over there shaking the gate. Don't get the binoculars out there. They got the cameras. I'm waiting for them now to take us to jail. And then we ended up in Rachel, Nevada for a while, and then back to Utah. But there was the tour guy who's a friend of mine, Nathan. He's from Utah, and we'll be cruising 85 miles an hour in the middle of nowhere. Oh, he just stops, pulls over the side of the road. We sit out there watching the sky.
Yeah.
Utah just has a stunningly beautiful sky. It really does. Plus, you get to hear the coyotes off yipping in the background.
Yeah. Yeah. So I grew up in northern Utah, which is more like a fantasy, like valley surrounded by these very majestic Rocky Mountains. So the southern Utah is this like desert with the arches.
Yeah.
So it's like it has the whole gamut of those beautiful.
We went through some mountains north and going into Colorado, and we didn't have a signal on a cell phone or a radio for like 4 hours. So thank God I got songs on my phone.
Yeah. I'm gonna make that drive in a couple weeks to go to Superstars writing seminars. I'm like, I better download that audiobook.
But it's a beautiful ride. I'm not gonna. And I blew by a cop at like 9. He didn't even look up. I was so disappointed. I figured I'm getting a ticket for sure. He didn't even look up. I'm like, damn, these people.
What do I need to do?
Well, I mean, you go through West Texas with the goats, you can do 100 out there. The speed limit's 85, but you can do 100. They don't even care.
They're not going to catch you. Like
they don't even care. They look up. Matter of fact, we stopped in Texas to go. We stopped at a Sonic to get a hamburger. I look up and go to put down my window. There's like 60 deer surrounding my car. I'm thinking I'm in like some alien movie or something, man. I'm like putting their head in my window. She's like, the guy comes over with my food. She said, "Don't they come here every night to get fed? Don't worry about it." I'm like, what?
That's wild.
I'm like, this is insanity. But it's gotten ugly out there now because all they got is windmills. It used to be pretty, but I can deal with the windmills for the most part. But half of them are broken and half of them are on fire. So I'm kind of like, it's not what it used to be. That's for sure. But it's pretty out there. But Utah is just gorgeous. I tell people all the time, go out here. There's some park we go to. It's like in little mini mountains, and they always set up a big 300 square inch one of them inflatable TV screens, and we do our lectures up there. It's really pretty, really nice. It's really warm. It's really nice there. I mean, I was surprised. I thought I was going to drive to Utah and was going to be SO state. Sorry.
Yeah. No.
And I was quite impressed. And then everybody's very nice there. I was really, and I can be a real pain in Cokes. Yes, and I can be a real pain in the ass, and they'd still being nice. I was like, wow.
It's the dirty Coke.
So we're getting kind of close to the.
We got to get out of here.
So anyway, Megan, how do people find you?
Oh, sure. You can find me on meganorussell.com, and that's MEGANORUSSELL.com, and also on the Page by Page podcast, where you can get a free paranormal mystery with a new chapter every week, audiobook style. And Girl of Glass, my paranormal dystopian book, is currently for free to download an ebook wherever you like your books.
So you're doing a scheduled podcast, or you're just doing it when you feel like it?
No, we have. Okay, so last week we missed an episode because I've been having eye troubles with the migraine. But every week a new chapter from the Laurel world comes out. So it's a paranormal mystery, kind of like Buffy the Vampire Slayers meets Pretty Little Liars. Every week I rate a chapter in that universe. It goes out in full audiobook style on the podcast, along with extra world lore and commentary. I have a professional voice actor as a husband, so I'm going to make him work for it. So he does the audiobook chapters for me. So you get like the full audiobook chapter plus extra world lore every week. And you just, you can listen to all of book 1 for free just by starting with season 1, episode 1.
Send me a link.
Okay.
And I'll take a listen. I didn't mean to cut y'all off there. I'm always interested. I mean, I currently
And
have
then,
40 podcasts on the network, so.
So then Becca.
Yeah, so similarly, ugh, I used up all my words. Here we are. My website is the best place. So that's beccaleeg.com, BECCALEEG.com. And that's my handle everywhere. So you can find me on Instagram and Facebook with the same handle. The book that I just published is Adventure Cats, and that was a backer kit campaign, and it's going to go live on Amazon in the next few days. And I'll be having a couple more backer kit campaigns as well. Danger Dogs is the next one. It's a part choose your own adventure, part dog sci-fi book. So enjoy that. That's going to be fun. I'm almost done writing it, so it's going to be good. And yeah, so that's me. That's what's coming up next.
That's great. And I definitely look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks when I go out there to Utah.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Well, actually, I'll see you first in
Superstar.
All right, don't crash.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm going to be at LTV as well. So I know Emily is she's the Toastmaster at LTV,
Yeah.
right? That's
Yeah.
so
So
cool.
my wife Emily's gonna be a Toastmaster at
I always
at,
hear about this Emily person.
Life
It's like a
University of
fantasy
Everything.
or something.
She's the coolest. I love Emily. So
She's
Yeah,
a
I'll-
She
little
is
strange.
Joe.
She's a little strange, man.
she's
Joe.
the coolest. Joe, we've been cool for a while, but if you talk mean about Emily, like
Yeah.
I never talk to mean about Emily because I got to see her every year.
she's
I
the
know it's
coolest.
gonna. Look, I bought the girl's sword this long.
She's
Yeah.
the coolest. I love her.
No, she's my person to pick on when I'm not there. When I'm there, I pick on Maliva. That's my favorite person.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick on Emily to her face.
I pick on to her face. It's not
she
that, but
looks
Maliva's
scrappy.
more fun.
She could
But
take you.
she's always too busy to pick on. You gotta sit there. See, by the time I sit there and get her a glass of wine, she's in chill, so it ain't worth picking on her by then. It's not worth it.
Yeah, she's
It's,
busy.
Anyway, so then Megan, I'll see you at Dragon Con, which would be
Yes,
great.
I'm so
Look forward to
excited.
that, Yeah. And then
Dragon Con someday.
yeah, it's a great
So
show.
cool. Wear really, really comfortable shoes and train your legs to walk uphill several
Yes.
times a
You know,
day.
it's funny she said that because I tell everybody who's going about 3 or 4 months before you go, start walking, get out, get some exercise. Because if not, you're gonna get cramps, and you're just gonna be like, "What the hell did I get myself?" Because it's up and down hills all day long. What is it? 4 hotels and a convention center, and half the thing runs 24 hours a day. So there's always something.
Yeah, I heard that.
I thought that part was a joke. It's
I did
not.
too.
It really
It's
is
not.
true.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's
That's
the heat that scares me from Dragon Con. I'm a Viking. I could live in Ireland. Bring me over. I'm good.
Honestly, as another heat susceptible person, because it's only like a block and a half from point to point max, there are a lot of places to dodge inside and cool off.
Well,
Because I have autoimmune, so I get really hot too fast. But you can it is doable for a spoonie as long as you know how to pace yourself and be in AC, a
right.
block and a half in AC.
Right.
It is possible. So don't
Okay,
let that scare
good.
you. It is
Good.
doable.
Good. That's
And the other best is you up on the side of the street and drop you on the side of the street. So you don't want to walk. And there's a couple times I was like, Uber, thank you. Uber, thank you. It cost me like $5. I'm like, this works.
good.
And, well, because I wasn't staying at the Four Hooters. I was staying at the Hilton, which was about a mile walk. I didn't mind walking it so much, but in the morning it's nice, and in the evenings it's really nice. It's cool outside because it's kind of hilly out there. But the daytime it's hot. It is the South, and it's going to be hot. Jesse, you should go to Drag Con if you want to meet everybody we're talking about. That's the best place to go, or any con near you. The only way you can get to the Rise of the Future thing is to win.
Right.
Yes, or like I said before, donate $1 million.
Yeah.
Easy
It would be
option.
amazing people like Becca and Megan to get invited by me, but otherwise,
That's right. Yeah, donate.
we're on-
I'm trying to get these people to donate a couple million, but they are tight with their money. It's been tight a couple of years. We coming out that other economy. I see that was a smart people. I know we got to get out. Nice meeting both of you ladies. Hope to see y'all in person. We got to get out of here, guys and girls. Remember, there's a lot of stuff going on. Still giving away a lot of stuff. Oh, and I did find that one new set with 10 books in it. So it's somewhere along the line, maybe I'll give it away from Mardi Gras. Yeah, it'll be something cool to give away from Mardi Gras.
yeah, the Rise of the Future set. Good.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's what is it? through 40. Is that what it was? No, 30. Hell, I forgot now. Anyway, it's 10 books, a 10 book set. Y'all can check it out. I'll pull it out and put it up. I thought I had sent it, but I guess for some reason it didn't get because there was 3 of them. Maybe I had 4 and didn't realize it. I know one of our hosts got one of them as well too, and Jay got him a nice set. But anyway, we got to get thanks again for tuning in, guys and girls. I hope y'all have a good time out there. Remember, guys, coming up in just about 45 or 50 minutes is the chat. Don't ask me what the topic is. I don't know. Other than Europe being a bunch of whiny blanks, because I can't say that on this show. We'll be talking about that. And we'll be talking about why some people just, somebody's butt just because, I don't know, he's got orange hair. But anyway, we'll be talking about that. And then, of course, whatever else the audience wants to talk about, we'll be talking about that. No, we can't get into that here. This is not a political show. We can't talk about that. I'm just telling you what's coming up on the next show. Thanks again, guys, for hanging out with us tonight. Everybody else, thanks for tuning in. And again, if you want to check out the chat, it'll be on in about 50 minutes right here on the United Public Radio Network, along with a couple other hosts that will be joining me tonight. So bring your earplugs because they do curse a lot. There's a couple words that get
okay, Joe, we've just finished a great show here. So
a lot.
Anyway,
we gotta go. Anyway, we gotta go, guys. Y'all, thanks again for tuning in. Beep beep, and let's get rid of